Cup champion Darren McCarty, the golden voice of Neal Ruhl, and the iconic Terry Foster. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
Yo, welcome back, everybody. Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy over there, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We got the post-birthday boy, Sam Flannel, in the house. We got Spencer Raxter. No T-Foss today, as it is Tuesday. He'll be back tomorrow, but we are locked. We are loaded. We are ready to roll. And D-Mac, I wanted to start with this because I've learned... I think a lot of people think the same way. And remember, you can get involved on our woodwardsports.com chat thread. Also, get your thoughts out there. There is nothing in the world that is more boring than listening to someone talk to you about their fantasy football team. Undefeated. That's an undefeated fact. Everyone loves fantasy football, unless I got to hear about your team. Is that fair?
For the most part, yes, Neal. For the most part, but I think fantasy football has changed. Right? Instead of used to being, full points here and there, you're down to the decimal point of wins. Now, you're bringing this up. Did you have a situation last night, maybe?
Yeah, and look, I would never bore you guys
Can
with
I preface this? And I'll get it
Sure.
underway because I like to, is that I lost earlier. We have a Woodward Sports Network. Earlier this year, I lost to our esteemed Lions reporter, Matty Miller, by 0.6 points. But yet last week, I think I pulled it out with Alvin Kamara on Monday night, like many other people, and I won by like 1 point,
there you go.
Maybe total. So I feel you, Neal. It's coming down to these Monday night games.
No, it is. And again, I would never bore you guys with, I have player X and he did Y and something like that, because I don't want to hear it from you guys. Because I don't care about your fantasy football team the same way you don't care about mine. Oh, by the way, shout out to Rack, woodwardsports.com chat thread. In first with the What Up, though. Unseeded Detroit Dabber. That's a stunner. That's an absolute stunner.
But you know why? Just a little side note. Soak Island Gold today, baby. Premier, Matty, and Rake, they're ready. Like D-Mac, we're going to be locked in. So no doubt, if there was going to be a day, today's your day, Rake.
I would rather hear about your fantasy football team than your Oak Island stories, but I digress. Here we go. We move on. I sent this screenshot. Yeah, I perhaps was involved in the greatest fantasy game ever played last night. Sewell Squad, which is my squad. By the way, we do the passing yards are 25 points. 25 yards for a point.
Okay.
The real way.
Yeah.
Not the video game-ish that you guys do now. But whatever. I digress. I move on.
Tone.
I move on.
Leave your tone for the other segments.
So I'm going against a great squad. Joe Buck yourself.
That's a good name.
So we're locked up in a battle. He's got Philly's defense and Jalen Hurts, and he's down coming into the game, and it's coming right down to the end. Everyone knows the Tyler Heineke's sack.
Yeah.
That wasn't a sack, where he took a knee, and then the penalty was called.
That was so whack.
Okay, and I was mad because that wasn't a sack.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get sacked. He went down. It was like a quarterback kneel down. Philadelphia got credit for the point for the sack, which put me behind by 0.08 points because of that point. Okay? Fast forward to Philadelphia punting the ball. Fair catch at the 10-yard, or excuse me, Washington punting the ball to Philadelphia. Fair catch at the 10-yard line. Last play of the game. You know what they're going to do. The lateral play's happening. So Jalen Hurts completes the pass. I believe it was Devontae Smith, right?
Yep.
Completes a pass to Devontae Smith. He runs backwards looking for someone to lateral the ball to. Laterals it to nobody in particular. Washington recovers it at the 1-yard line and goes into the end zone for a touchdown, which then becomes a minus 9-yard pass because that's what it was. That's what Washington, that's where their game possession. Therefore, he lost those 9 yards passing, which put him back behind the 0.08 points he was ahead, which gave me the victory.
Now, you're pretty on ball. You're pretty on ball, being draft capital, salary cap guy, or whatever, what's going on. But was it confusing for you at the end of the game? How long did it take for you to realize that you'd won?
So it was wild because I was heated about that being a sack, number one. I was heated about that being a sack. Chuck Brewer says, Neal, I'll second that. Thank you, sir. Rack says, "Hey Neal, no one cares." I know. Some of you care about this one though. This is the greatest fantasy football game ever played. I would never bore you unless there were stats. Alicia says, "I care, Neal. I care about your fantasy football team." No, you don't really, Alicia. You only care because this is a good story. That's why we're telling it. So yes, so there was confusion in that originally he was credited with the 10-yard passing loss, right? Then they added the 10 yards back because I don't think the Yahoo people knew exactly what the rules were on that. So then they took the 10 yards back off. This is all happening in real time. So I'm watching the score bounce back and forth. So then because it was possession changed at the 1 yard line, they had to credit Jalen Hurts with 1 yard back passing, but it wasn't enough. And I still ended up winning. So yes, nobody knew exactly what was going on.
So when was this for you of the season? How integral was this? Were you more of this your Lions Dan Campbell road victory, or were you just solidifying, more of the Minnesota Vikings Kirk Cousins just destiny tour? Are you on a destiny tour with this fantasy team?
That pushed me into a tie for second.
Okay. Playoff position.
Tie for second highest scoring team in the league, though. You know how that works.
Well, you know what? Draft capital, salary cap, works in your fantasy team. So was that the closest? So was that because we brought it up and whatever? You've played fantasy football a long time.
Yeah.
Was that the craziest ending?
I've had games end on the last play of Monday Night Football before, like a sack or what but I've never had it go back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never lost a game on the second to last play and then won it back on the last play because of that crazy stuff that they were doing, too. Like, it will never get more wild than that ever. It never will.
Well, congratulations on your victory.
Well, thank you. I can't take the credit. The credit goes to those little digital men with the tiny hearts.
That's fair.
So that was it. But, yeah, it was fun. What made it more fun, and you guys know me, is I was told that the guy I beat, this is a friend of mine's league that I was asked to participate in, is really heated right now.
Yeah.
Really heated.
I would be too.
Yeah, so I love that. David Mentier says, Rich Diana, Neal, this is riveting. Hey, look, I know, right? Some of you cared, though. I just thought that it was a pretty good story. This would be the last time, because the story's never going to get better than that. So, therefore, I'll never tell another fantasy football story again. I'll never talk about my team. I'll never complain about it ever again.
All right.
You guys can all piss off, man. That was a great sports story.
Until you win.
You should have saw Twitter exploding last night.
Yeah.
It was. People were heated, bro.
Hey, you want to know the opposite of that sports story? I beat Fish 60-50 this week, and it was the Kyler Murray versus Matt Stafford game. We both started. I started Kyler Murray. He started Matt Stafford. They didn't play. So you got the opposite end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve Lehman, calm down, Neal. Eat a Snickers. Whatever. I thought it would be some good content for you. John R. says low ratings, Big D energy. Maybe after that story, John R. Maybe you're right. What are you gonna do? Said I dragged it out too far. Chuck, we got to get through a segment, man.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, Chuck, what's your idea? What do you want to do for the next 5 minutes, Chuck? I'll wait. Chuck, go ahead, put it in there. Tell me what he wants to do. I'll wait. Your guy, Sebastian Cosa, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that? The hardest thing to remember, we're talking about 2 years ago, first round draft pick, goaltender, 6'6", Sebastian Cosa. Started out, he had the eligibility to go back to junior, but he's sort of graduated from that, accomplished what he can at the junior level. So now you stick him into the fire in Grand Rapids, and I think it was 1-1, but his goals against was a little bit over 3, under 9 save percentage. So the luxury of what you have, and I implore anybody who gets opportunity, go down and see the Toledo Walleye, East Coast Hockey League team. So he's backstopping them now. Gaining his confidence, but he's definitely the future. I would think that's going to come up here. And with goaltenders, obviously it takes a little bit longer, but if you want to see what the future is, he's starting in net down in Toledo right now, and they got such a great program. That arena down there, if you haven't been to a game, I'd implore, if you're on that end of the state, go to the East Coast game in Toledo. If you're up north, go to an OHL game in Flint or Saginaw, where you got some of the
You know
the new
me.
young
I'm
guys.
Team OHL.
We got that. We got some good young players that are coming, throughout. So I think it's yet again, right? We always talk about Steve Yzerman building this team, signing players, having draft capital, having the war chest. This is part of it, Neal, in development and going, okay, kid, go out there, go feel the pucks at a pro level, 19 years old, learning how to, live on his own and stuff like this. So shout out to our guy, Woodward Sports, Mike Gentry, and you can check out the article, woodwardsports.com. But it's good to see. And as this kid gets caught, Sebastian Coe doesn't lack self-confidence, just like Darren McCarty doesn't lack self-confidence. So it's just sort of figuring out a way to mold it. And as his confidence becomes, goaltender at this in the NHL is a tough gig, but he's part of the future, 100% part of the future, and he will be one of the goalies in net when this team wins.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Coquet, DC Commanders looking more like a quality win for the Detroit Lions. and I saw the stat. The NFC East has the highest win percentage through 10 games, ever or something like that, or since in the last 50 years or some kind of crazy number like that. Who'd have thunk it, man?
Thunk it?
Here we are. The NFC East, the powerhouse.
Yeah.
But look at the adjustments, though, because that's not the same team that I watched last night playing Philly as I did watch live here at Ford Field. So I know that, Taylor Heineke's in there. The problem is they couldn't keep their quarterback upright, and now you look at the way they pounded that rock last night, and it really, it goes to show you that Philly was missing their first rounder, Jordan Davis, a guy that a lot of us here had thought that maybe when Detroit moved up in the draft, they were going to
nobody here wanted him. Nobody here wanted him. Remember we did the shows? Remember he would consensus last, like when you put the list of names. Nobody here wanted him.
Here was the thing, because of availability.
Right.
Because of more along the lines of not that when he's in there he can do it, but he can only play 20-some snaps a game, 30 snaps a game, right?
Right.
So, but what I'm saying is that the effectiveness, you know what it reminded me of? I'm watching it, the defensive version of what we have in DeAndre Swift. The availability. Just got to get him out there and make things happen. So, kudos to Washington. That making that NFC East, Neal, isn't over yet. Like you said, we were talking about before with the Lions going into the Giants, with the weather, with you don't trust Daniel Jones. We are all having this conversation. I don't either, right? I trust our little hands more than their little hands. So, which is interesting, which this, and it goes down to coaching and stuff like this, but Ron Rivera. But the eyeball test is that Washington Commanders team, they played the game that they had to win last night, and Taylor Heineke did what he did. I was thinking of this though, like talk about missing calls and stuff like this. What would have been more egregious, you losing that game with the kneel down, or the Philadelphia turning the ball over to the face mask?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if anybody's like me, but when I watch any sports that has replay or whatever, I just expect them to get it right. Like even I know you can't review that, but if that's the case, I don't know. I just have a hard time with it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show that we could have a half-hour segment on that, D-Mac.
That just bothers me. Is that if you're gonna go to the replay to whatever else, you should replay the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But that's just me.
No, I don't disagree with you. Actually, Spencer put out a tweet yesterday about that, about the Eagles. And here's where I don't want to say it was fool's gold. Obviously, they're a good team. But a plus 16 turnover differential is not sustainable.
Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that it is. And I would contend, too, that Daniel Jones not turning the football over is also not sustainable.
So going into that game, the Philadelphia Eagles had turned it over three times. Yesterday. So to that point, Neal, when we're talking about going to break down this game, the Lions going into the Giants, that's the biggest difference also, is that they've been taking care of the ball. Daniel Jones is known as a turnover machine. Do we have what it takes to get him back on that? Maybe. Maybe. Weather's going to be a big thing, don't you think? Mm-hmm. See what the weather report, whether it's the wind or snow or whatever's going on. So definitely on this Tuesday, I think it's a game that the Lions can win.
No, and I don't disagree with you. The point spread suggests that as well. So, yeah, it certainly will be interesting to watch going forward. And I want to get into that a little bit. The Lions-Giants game. After we talk about Swiss.
Yes, but not Mushroom and Swiss. Swiss Insurance Group. Swiss Insurance Group and their employees are heavily involved in their community. It is very rewarding, but comes with great responsibility. If you sit in a local youth sports board, homeowners association, or a volunteer coach, directors and officers insurance is a must. Make sure the kids, parents, and volunteers are protected. Call Swiss Insurance today.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG, and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Neal Ruhl here for Bedrock Detroit. And downtown Detroit's all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has the giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade. Plus, you can grab drinks at the Lodge before or after games that are popping downtown. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with deckedoutdetroit.com. Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, WoodwardSports.com chat thread where all of you are. Honolulu Blue Sparty. Neal, did you discuss how Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels performed an exorcism to break the Bobby Lane curse? We're angling to cover that, aren't we, Spenny?
Yes.
We're angling to cover that. We'll just leave it like that.
Working on it.
We're working on it. We're working on it. We will tell you that. Lions, Giants this weekend. Checked out the spread this morning. The Lions a 3.5-point underdog, which seems a little thin, which right away kind of puts my antennas up a little bit. And guys, for me, this is the thing I'm going to go back to. I have a very, very short, succinct breakdown of this football game where Saquon Barkley's great. I mean, he is great. Probably the top running back in the league this year. Is that fair to say, Sam Flannel?
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
That's just the reality of the situation. The bottom line is this. Daniel Jones has 2 interceptions this year. Daniel Jones has no fumbles lost this year. I understand that the Daniel Jones turnover factory has been offline because of supply chain issues. However, the workforce is returning. At some point, the machines will be fired back up, and Daniel Jones Turnovers Inc. will be back online. And that's all I have for you guys this week. Daniel Jones will turn the football over at least once in this game, if not twice. He is what he is, D-Mac. You can run from what you are, but in the end, you are what you are, and he's a turnover factory.
Well, we can all agree that going into this game, this is the most confidence that Aaron Glenn and his defense will have had. And they're right coming off of 2 wins, the bend but don't break. A lot of the things obviously keying in on Saquon Barkley. Here's the thing, Neal. Thing that I like, and I agree. He's the best running back in the game, but he's not a running quarterback, right? Now, Daniel Jones is mobile and stuff like this, but you don't have to worry about that. And I think when we focus in on more of a running back, maybe we can do more of a job like we did with Green Bay and Aaron Jones and their running backs, right? So to me, right off the bat, it doesn't scare me like that. But also, too, you got to think, if you're the defense this week at Ford Field, they're telling Aaron Glenn's hammering this down, Dan Campbell's hammering this down, the fact that the levy's got to break. It's not like Daniel Jones. The consistency, you are what you are. It reminds me, the turnovers and as a quarterback reminds me of shooting percentage in hockey. It's about, as Brendan Shanahan used to say, is that it's your percentage really doesn't change. Maybe one year you'll have a higher percentage, but say if you're a 10% shooter, you need 10 shots for every goal. So it's about quantity, right?
Right,
So
it's a
about,
numbers game.
It's about the numbers game. And if you're like, that, this is the way that it works in sports. So he's used up all his juju. What I'm saying is Daniel Jones early. And with the attitude of the Detroit Lions, where they're going in there thinking, right? You got Akuta that just had a pick six. You got guys that are playing hard to the ball all the time, that this is set up for them to go out and do it, right? This is the offense you want to do it against. Yeah, they got to shut down Saquon Barkley, but I think that the way that the defensive line, the way that this team has sort of played in the last couple of weeks, they're going to be up to the task. So if I was a betting man, I would take, like you said, probably I would think that this is a 2-turnover game.
Yeah, and that's where it is for me. And I think the Lions' running game will bounce back a little bit. They were a little less than what they typically have been last week, but it didn't matter because they won the football game. So, again, and on WoodwardSports.com chat thread, and this is very, very fair. Corona, I haven't seen you in there. Appreciate you tapping into Big D Energy. Says, objectively, Goff has been the turnover machine since 2019. Spencer Raxter would celebrate your point.
Yes. It's true.
But that's the question, right? Where New York's probably saying the same thing. My question to you guys, going into this game, who you want under center, Daniel Jones or Jared Goff? And you have to choose one. Because I'm choosing Goff. And what's that have to say?
That's a good... Remember we did this?
We did do this.
Hold on. That reminds me. Remember we did this, and I kind of set all you guys up. Sorry. I do that from time to time. Right, Sam Flannel?
Oh, it really is closer than you think, because Daniel Jones, despite the Giants winning, he hasn't really done much this year. He's only thrown for 200 yards in a game twice, and his receiving core is beyond decimated. You've got Darius Slayton and Richie James as your starting wide receivers, which to me, that is probably, maybe besides the Bears, the weakest passing attack that this Lions defense will have faced. It seems obvious that you just don't let Saquon Barkley beat you, but no team has been able to do that because Saquon Barkley is averaging 100 yards rushing per game. But I think the Lions can maybe force Daniel Jones into a couple turnovers, maybe at least make him mid, and maybe force Saquon Barkley to get those yards the hard way. Call me crazy, but I believe the Lions have a very good chance in this game.
And that's where I am with it.
A couple of weeks ago, I would have never thought that in a million years.
And that's where I am with it.
But the Lions, they can win this game. As the week goes on, I might actually even pick them, although I'm not ready to commit to that just yet. But this is a very, very winnable game for the Lions. And then you start to look ahead. This season might not be that lost.
And I forget what the numbers were on it, but it was high. It was like, 75? We gave you the option before the season started.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones or Jared Goff. And it was right around 80% of you that said Jared Goff, no question. Let's rerun it, shall we? On the WoodwardSports.com chat poll. Right now, who would you take? Right now, going forward, you want Jared Goff, you want Daniel Jones?
And this game might really come down to the turnover battle. Like, who doesn't turn it over? Who takes care of the ball? The one thing you have to look at also, too, is what's the two-headed monster, right, for the Giants ain't on the field. It's their coaches. And Dable, who's running their offense, their head coach, and then Wink Martindale, who's come over from the Baltimore system, who is renowned as one of the best defensive minds, right, in football. So what do you have to go up against? Because can we agree that here's the one thing about the Giants. They know who they are, right? They know what they have to do to win. It's just the fact, can we offensively, are we going to be healthy enough? What does our receiver room look like? When you say that, our receiver room, just with Amon-Ra St. Brown, looks so much better than their receiver room, right? So when you start breaking down position to position and how you think the game's going to go out, I think weather's a big play in that. Now, can we counter, right? We're supposed to be a great rushing team, right? Have these hosses. Can we control the ball? You look at that game last night, right, where Philadelphia's double-digit favorite and stuff like this, but what did Washington do? Washington didn't care. They controlled the ball, right? They controlled the clock.
Yeah.
Right? They won the turnover battle. They did those things that they needed to do, and it's right along the same lines. I think that's what the game plan of that hard-nosed football, making it tough that the Lions can go into New York and win.
Teron Carroll on our WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Goff, hands down. And Goff's getting a lot of run in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. A lot of people taking up for Jared Goff. And that's the thing is, when you start working backwards, and that's our goal. And I don't want it to turn into this, but I know it's going to turn into this because it always does. That's just the way that it works. Like with the Goff thing, that's why he is he's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He sure is.
He is, man. Look here. Right now, who would you take? Over 100 votes. 81% of you say Jared Goff.
Yeah, but if you did this poll in the New York market, 81% would be Daniel Jones. It's a coin flip.
Do they like him there or not?
Do you think?
I think they like him more than Jared Goff. It's not like we like Jared Goff here.
But see, I would think, we know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I could almost excuse it.
Don't you look at Daniel Jones as the poor man's Jared Goff?
That can run.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right, because he's a scrambler, right?
Yeah.
So there's the one thing also, he might not have the breakaway speed like the Hurts and the Fields, but he can put himself into position, and he's taking. Yeah, you just think the levee's got to break, and you're the one that's going to break the levee. To your point, there's certain things that need to be done. They got to find a way to make the turnover guy and Daniel Jones force turnovers. And Sam, bottom line going in is that if they can hold Saquon Barkley to under 100 yards, you're ahead of the game.
Oh, if the Lions can hold Saquon to under 100 yards, I think that is one of the formulas for beating them. And Daniel Jones, to speak to the Daniel Jones versus Jared Goff thing, this Daniel Jones before this year was universally considered not their quarterback, not a starting quarterback. And this year, he's had the luxury of playing with the number one running back in the NFL who is averaging 100 yards rushing per game. So I think that he has more help around him. Jared Goff has almost twice as many touchdown passes as Daniel Jones. But on the other end, Jared Goff, he's got 7 interceptions. Daniel Jones has 2. And all Daniel Jones has to do on this offense is not turn the football over. And so far, he hasn't. But to Neal's point, it's only a matter of time. And maybe this is the week where the Lions can take advantage and be opportunistic.
Yeah, I mean, in a career, Daniel Jones, 53 touchdowns to 31 interceptions. And there's been countless fumbles lost. He is a turnover factory. And at some point, that will show up again.
I'm looking at you, Kirby Joseph. That's a guy that can maybe bait Daniel Jones into an interception or force a fumble. That's a guy that really needs to step up this big, because we all know the ball just seems to find him, and he's also coming off of a not great game. This might be Kirby Joseph's game to shine.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Rack says, well, hey, he's got Kenny Galladay. Oh, wait.
Yeah, sitting on the bench.
Taking up.
Kenny Galladay makes more in a month than the whole receiver room of the Giants.
The Giants have the worst receiver room in the NFL. That's just fact. Kadarius Toney traded. Kenny Galladay dead. And then you got Richie James and Darius Slayton and David Sills.
Don't forget about Wan'Dale Robinson.
Listen to that.
Robinson's pretty good.
No.
But he's a rookie.
$1.5 million a year.
Yeah.
A little more palatable than Kenny Galladay's $21.5 or $21.1 million cap hit.
Oh, dear Lord. He has 2 catches for 22 yards all season. Kenny Galladay. It's so bad. Worst contract in the NFL.
Oh, I love it that he's somebody else's problem. Yeah, it's somebody else's problem.
It's not yours. It's a start.
I love it. Talking about money, though, right?
What happened to him? Did Stafford make him? Is that what we've come down to, or did he just give up?
Don't care.
Yeah.
Not our problem.
That's fair.
I don't care. I care about Moneyball, though.
Moneyball, yeah, me too, because it's a great movie. But it's also a spot where you can get all of your sportswear needs. Check out Moneyball Sportswear. It's your one-stop shop. Whether you want the latest look in athletic apparel or you need new uniforms for your team, Moneyball has it all. Stop at a Moneyball showroom in Southfield and experience the only way to ball. Or visit MoneyballSportswear.com. Join Woodward Sports Network's own Braylon Edwards on Black Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., and you can win some Moneyball swag. Moneyball, the only way to ball.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Neal Ruhl here for Planet Fitness, the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports, and they're also home of the Judgment-Free Zone. You can work out for just $10 a month. You can upgrade to the Black Card, get unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. You basically own the place when you're a Black Card member. That's really the way that it breaks down. Join today in club. You'll pass a couple on the way home, or jump on that computer. Go to planetfitness.com right now. It's Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Shoulder day, where your fitness
Shoulder
is essential.
What's shoulder day?
Boulders.
What does somebody do on shoulder day? I don't know what this shoulder day is that you all speak of.
Shrubs, Arnold's.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things.
That doesn't help your triceps and biceps, though.
It's true. You only work out your glamour muscles.
100 beach muscles, 100%. That's all we do, baby. We run miles and do the beach muscles. That's it. Back at it here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter here with you. We do have to talk about this too. Aidan Hutchinson had a very, very good football game last weekend. And so the question becomes, has he kind of jumped back in? You know what I'm saying? And we'll have more of this too when we get into the Nickle package, which is coming up in a little bit. This is more what I was talking about.
Yeah.
At number 2. And I think that's fair. And I got a couple of the messages on social media. Not a ton, but I got a couple from the Sam Flannel army where, you know, what do you think about Hutch now, Neal? Well, it's funny because he's doing what I asked for. He wasn't before. He is now.
I think what you're seeing is progress.
Is that tone?
Absolutely, yeah, but when it always is, I tuned out the tone. I could tune out tone, not just at home.
The married ones know.
The married ones know.
She doesn't watch anyway. I can say that.
Absolutely. Anyways, no, because you know what it is, Neal? Just like other big players, big defensive ends, guys that are supposed to be impactful. At impactful times, I'm noticing him on the screen, making plays, making smart plays. Here's the one thing I loved about the other day, because it drove me nuts when they had Fields, when Fields scrambled for the touchdown that he ran over Deshaun Elliott, right? Knocked him out of the game with, right? We had him in the backfield. And it was like the pursuit, and it was like the over pursuit of Aidan that we'd seen so far in this season, that when you're like, dude, just go get him, where are you going? And it's like you're so close, but then you see he makes a play like intelligence, like the interception. Yeah, Rogers' bad throw to Battieri, but Hutchinson stopped and was there. Yes, bad throw by Fields to Okuda, but Hutchinson started that. I see that intelligence level to match with the motor. Now I'm seeing it more so like I expect from a number 2 overall pick. So I think he's coming into his own. I think he's getting his confidence. I think that here's the why. It's his first year in the league, playing against men, right? It's going to take some time to adjust, and I think that with what you're looking for now is consistency. Consistency to make a play is he going to make a play every game? And it doesn't have to be a sack, but he's got to be effective and here's what every other big-time player does that is drafted up high, that is anything for any team, is that when the lights are on the brightest, when they need that play to be made, they make it. Look what he did the other day, right? Second last play puts Chicago in a no-win situation where we were able to, Quora and everybody, all 8 of them, were able to finally sack Justin Fields at the end of the game.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Rack says you got to have big shoulders to carry 4 stands.
My guy Rack, yeah, that's it. Plus we're digging for gold tonight.
Yeah.
Get loose.
Sapper18 says, Neal, you can shrug your shoulders as you think of Kenny Galladay. So yeah, I guess that would work. Ryan's reaction says, Neal's broad shoulders are all genetics, no work. I have broad shoulders. I can take it. I think that I've said that before. No, but you know what? For me, D-Mac, it's because. What was I told about Aidan Hutchinson, right? Like, yes, he could be a great player, but he has probably the highest floor of anybody that's in the draft, right? That's the consensus. Sam Flynn, you're nodding. You agree with that, Sam Flynn, right? Like, he had the highest floor. In the end, that's what made me fairly comfortable with it, because to some degree I knew what I was getting. My concern from before was I wasn't getting that floor.
Right.
I feel like we're at that like this is at a baseline. This is what it's going to be.
This is what we expect.
Right. And I'm not saying like give me 4 sack games with a forced fumble and a recovery and a touchdown. Like I don't need all that. I wanted that baseline. And Sam, I think it was fair that I questioned the baseline for a minute there.
Oh, it was
we were
fair.
all freaking out.
We were all freaking out. I was freaking out, and I was the biggest Aidan Hutchinson fan there is. And Aidan Hutchinson quietly is leading all rookies in sacks with 5.5, and the second highest has 3. That's almost twice as much as any other rookie. And you saw it again in the Bears game. Justin Fields, as we can see, is a very, very hard man to get on the ground. But when the Bears were driving, when it was 2nd and 10, all they had to do was go down and get a field goal. It was Aidan Hutchinson who made the big sack to make it 3rd and 15 to where it was pretty much a wrap for the Bears. And he also got the pressure and kind of bothered Justin Fields on the throw that led to the Jeff Okudah pick 6. What we're seeing from Aidan Hutchinson on all 3 of their wins, Aidan Hutchinson's mark is all over it. His contributions are all over it. And that is all we wanted from the number 2 overall pick. And I think right now, and I know we'll get to it later, I think Aidan Hutchinson absolutely has entered back into the Defensive Rookie of the Year race.
Well, we'll discuss.
We will discuss, but it has a lot to do with the fact that
it's these Michigan fans, Spence.
It's not being a Michigan fan. It's the fact that he is making...
But there's Michigan fan traits to that statement.
Okay.
Like ignoring reality, not taking into account everything else that's going on around you.
I'll tell you what, though. He's been the best rookie edge rusher. I don't know if I'd put him above Sauce Gardner and Devin Lloyd, but he's been the best rookie edge rusher.
Yeah, we can have that. Now that's realistic. Now you're coming back into, you're re-entering the atmosphere.
Well, and what I said was into the conversation. It's obviously Sauce and Devin Lloyd and then everybody else, but Aidan Hutchinson, when you have that big of a lead for rookies in sacks, and when in all 3 of the wins, Aidan Hutchinson has showed up huge, you can have that conversation about him being in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. And, of course, he's been the best rookie edge rusher. I think right now it's not even close.
No,
and that's what we
not
wanted.
An award.
Here's what I love, right? You guys are going at it, and I see Go Blue and the chat thread going, oh, here comes the tone.
You've trained everybody very, very well, D-Mac. WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Robert Closia. Hey, D-Mac and Rack.
Atmosphere.
Hey, our guy Robert Closia. Hey, D-Mac and Rack. I've been watching a lot of Beyond Oak Island in anticipation tonight, season 2 and 3. is getting better, where they actually going places and finding stuff. You guys are going to be critical about me telling you what maybe the greatest fantasy football game that was ever played, and be critical of that, saying shh and z in the chat thread. But you're going to jump in here and start talking about, I was watching a lot of Beyond Oak Island getting ready for. Get out of here. Get TF out of here, Robert. You're my guy, but enough.
Councilman, you know what? Rake and I agreed we weren't going to bring up Beyond Oak Island to Neal because they find stuff, and we don't want Neal to come on over to the party because we're actually finding gold. So wait till the big one tonight, the Curse of Oak Island, when we really find stuff, buddy. But I agree. I like that shit. Don't worry about it. Go back to your fantasy football. Thanks, Councilman.
Stop with that.
Is that tone?
That was tone. Yeah. I don't get a lot of tone from you. And I got tone from that.
Maybe because where you have Joe Dumars, I have Oak Island.
Yeah. Jack Harrington says, Neal, Michigan fans are easily triggered. Duke Nukem, Neal's the biggest Michigan hater at Woodward. I don't think that's true.
It absolutely is true, because all I'm talking about is Aidan Hutchinson in the NFL and how he's coming on, and you're acting like, oh, that's just like a Michigan fan. How can you say that he has not entered at least the race? He has almost twice as many sacks as any other rookie. That's really, really good, just in case you weren't able to tell.
Look at the...
It's a fact.
Are there some Michigan fan qualities to what he's doing right now? Like the instant triggered...
I mean, the triggered, yes, but he has a point.
Wow.
He's definitely third.
Has anybody seen Sauce Gardner play?
He is definitely third in the Defensive Rookie of the Year race.
That's the conversation.
I'm conflicted now because I want to do the Nickle package, but there's a side conversation I want to have with Sam Flannel about Michigan fans.
I mean, we can push it back.
Neal's got the Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, you're either first or you're last.
Yeah.
The mentality.
We can push it back.
Should we get into this discussion?
I agree. It's the conversation, but I also agree in the stratosphere. So there's everything you guys are talking about, but it's always the same thing, right? Your tone, but you're fishing him along. It's like Terry always says, get him going, and then you're just playing around with him. But the fact is that to your point, right, Sam, is that the conversation about Aidan Hutchinson. Give me 5 guys. You name the other 2. Give me 2 other guys that are in that conversation. And Aidan Hutchinson's at least in the top 5.
100%. We did forget about Tariq Woolen out of Seattle. He's also having a damn good year. The chat is
he's probably above Hutch.
He is for now.
Sauce Gardner is laying money right now.
The point of the conversation is the first, up until the bye week, Hutchinson wasn't even in the conversation because he had 1 quarter or 1 half of great football. Now he's being more consistent. Now you can legitimately say, okay, I can see him getting some votes. Not winning, but getting some votes.
Yes, he's in the conversation.
Not when you're double digits still. When you're 10-1. You are laying money with Sauce Gardner to win Rookie of the Year. Laying money.
Sauce Gardner is absolutely going to win at this pace, but Aidan Hutchinson, I mean, aren't you happy with how he's come on? He's been really, really good.
Absolutely. But easy, guys. Like let's take it down a notch as far as he's in that discussion for. No, it's Sauce Gardner. Period. End of story. That's it.
I understand that, but can we put a moratorium on the Kayvon Thibodeau talk? I think that's fair too.
Head to head.
I think that's very fair.
Still?
What's that?
Is he back? Is he playing this week?
He's playing, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
head
playing.
To head. Maybe we'll have this discussion.
That is true.
Next Monday.
I forgot about that. That's a good catch. That's a juicy line.
To your point, Sam, Aidan Hutchinson's ahead of Kayvon Thibodeau in the conversation.
100%.
And Trayvon Walker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
ribbit.
At number 2. Sorry. Go on. Listen, all this turmoil in here, I got to give something away for free. So, ribbit's going to be Big Frog. Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Nova. You stop in there, tell them we sent you, bing, bang, boom. The print your shirt up right on the spot. Go to Big Frog Novi today, get your free t-shirt, or visit them online, bigfrog.com/Novi.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The Bacon Blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the three biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. It is fall. You'll be outside fixing up the yard before the snow comes down. You might have a bog project. Alta Rent, they got you covered. Give them a call today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, Darren, McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, you know the squad, woodwardsports.com chat thread. Troy Fiegel says, Neal hates Michigan. That's why. You know what? We'll push the nickel package back. I have some questions. We're going to talk.
Do it.
We capable of having a discussion, Sam Flannel? I don't think we are, right?
I love being.
Yes.
I said it earlier today before we came on. This is a situation. I love being an agent of chaos.
It's not chaos though.
Agents of chaos.
I gotta know why. So pre-show, Sam Flannel and I got to talking about the college football playoff, and I was telling him about how, I'm kind of not getting some good vibes from Ohio State as of late. They look better, obviously, against Indiana, and it snowed.
They look real good against Indiana.
And it snowed, and they still looked pretty good, which was a team that Michigan struggled with. But that only plays in when the reverse is true, like when Ohio State has to go to the place, and you know what I'm saying? Like only when the reverse is true. But anyway, just general questions. Like Sam Flannel, so you and I were discussing it because I said that when we talked about the college football playoff rankings, which are coming out tonight, by the way, how I value TCU more than I value Michigan right now. That I think TCU resume is better than Michigan's resume. So, with all that being said, why can't you ask questions of Michigan fans? Why do you guys why does your hair raise up in the back of your neck and you put your paws out and you're in the corner and you hiss at everybody? Anytime somebody asks you a question, which is a fair question. It's a fair question. Why is that, Sam Flannel?
Well, because I think it's fair now to say that so far this season, TCU's resume is clearly better than Michigan's. My thing is more, if Michigan goes into Ohio State and beats them, I think Michigan's resume will in turn be better. You're counting TCU's wins against Kansas State, Oklahoma State, at Kansas as these just
all ranked wins
versus Oklahoma, the Brent Venables disaster Oklahoma as these huge wins. Just like, oh my God, they played a gauntlet.
Were they ranked wins?
They were ranked.
Okay, cool.
But you don't say anything about Michigan just molly-whopping Penn State, running for 418 yards, holding them to 17, 10 offensive points.
TCU's done all that. And TCU's won it any way you want to win.
Any way you want to. Okay, yeah, that Texas win was
choked them out in their own building,
and that was absolutely huge. And that is kind of
why can't I ask the question? It's not even the argument. Why can't I ask the question? Why can't I state that to you? And right now you're swelling up right now. Why?
You can absolutely ask the question because so far TCU's resume is better. I just don't like how you act like Oklahoma State is like this massive win and Penn State is just the most mid team ever. That's my problem. Oklahoma State is not a great program. They're a good program. I'd say Penn State.
They were number 8 in the nation. All you can do is what do I get from Michigan fans?
I'm sitting here and that's exactly it. All you can do, regardless of its strength of schedule, whatever, is take care of everything in front of you. You want to hammer on any quarterback, any player.
Can we agree, though?
What does the NCAA view everybody else as? So TCU, It's not their fault where everybody's ranked. They just take care of business.
And those teams aren't ranked anymore because TCU beat them all.
Here's why. Here's why, Neal. Because TCU has done everything in their power and made their play, and pretty much for lack of a internal blow up are going to be in the playoffs, right? Michigan has always been down to, before the season or whatever, this game that they have to win. That last year it was the same thing, except it was here because it was Ohio State.
D-Mac, this is the rub on it, and I don't want it to be about the subject matter. I don't. I want the answer that, like, why can't we ask that's a fair question. That's a fair question.
Because it's a one-game season of failure, right? Because we all know what it's the biggest game. Because TCU sort of, like, along the way, not expected to be there because of their conference, but their strength of schedule has put them to where it is. With Michigan and their strength of schedule and playing everybody else has done to everything that's been put in front of them, but they need this one to get to to accomplish what they want.
But I want to know why that is, though, Sam Flanagan. And look, WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Nicholas Duncan, TCU better than Ohio State, too. And that's been my point. That's the discussion I was having with Sam Flannel. Like, Ohio State and Michigan are the exact same thing. Exact same thing.
And honestly, now that you mentioned that, it kind of sort of quells my, I wouldn't say anger, but my sort of distress a little bit, because Ohio State hasn't played a gauntlet either. They did play Notre Dame, which was a big win, but they feasted on Arkansas State, Toledo, Rutgers, Michigan State, Northwestern, Indiana. My thing is just be consistent. Michigan and Ohio State have done basically the same thing, sans the Notre Dame win.
Top 5 win.
No, and that is a big win. But Michigan, are they not allowed to just play who's in front of their schedule? They're 10-0. They're undefeated. They control their destiny. And so does TCU, but Michigan does as well.
Right, but my problem is, like, when I see everybody up here talking about it, like, 8 of those games are gimmies.
Okay.
They're gimmies.
8 of those games.
Is Rutgers a gimme?
Yes.
Is Colorado State a gimme?
Absolutely.
Is Hawaii?
Yes.
Is UConn?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you only said 8 of those games are gimmies, because I
is
was
Indiana?
Told, yes.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Is Nebraska?
100%. 100%. And I get it, but Ohio State...
I thought Nebraska was going to win 9 games this year.
God damn it.
We were told...
Yeah, but that was a Scott Frost effect.
That was Scott
so
Frost,
he lost
yeah,
that. He did
true.
say that under Scott Frost they would have 10 wins.
I said 9.
Okay,
but,
9. Can't even get one.
All right, D-Mac, what do you think about this? William Rhodes. Neal, it's because you phrase it like a gotcha question. It's not about what you ask, it's how you ask it. You see why... everyone's getting caught up on tone. Look at the context of the discussion, the words that are said. The words, the facts. It's not arguable. Donald Do 304. TCU has no gimmies. TCU has played multiple ranked teams, won ranked games on the road, multiple ranked wins on the road.
Is this the only way? TCU set their schedule up and played opponents the only way that they could make the committee look their way. And you know what I'm saying? Where Michigan's done the same thing, Ohio State's done the same thing, where it's only one game for them, where TCU had to put all these games together to get sort of the rub, right? The proof that we're sitting here this late in the season going, oh, this TCU team's for real. How long has that taken us to see that? Right?
Well, and here's
because of their opponents and because of everything else. To your point about this is all that Ohio State and Michigan needs to do is to either beat each other to get there. So now it's about going out and getting it done.
And see, here's my thing. Like Chuck Brewer says, only team in the country not to trail in the fourth quarter. You're double-digit favorite in every game you play. You shouldn't be trailing. You were trailing the Rutgers at halftime.
You were trailing the Rutgers at halftime, but it's also the way that Michigan has won their running game, their defense.
It doesn't matter. Can you just say? I just want to hear you say it. Yeah, we played a pretty crappy schedule. Now we've won them all, but the schedule's been crappy. Can you say that?
It's been crappy.
Okay,
but
that's it.
But Michigan is first in the nation in points allowed per game. That matters no matter what.
Yeah, because of who they're playing, Sam Flannel.
But I was told they were going to fall off after Aidan Hutchinson, David Ojabo, and Dax Hill left.
I didn't say that. What did I say? What did I tell you guys in July, Spence? What did I tell you?
Yeah, you said the defense could be better.
No, I didn't. It wasn't even necessarily that. What did I tell you about the schedule in July?
Yeah,
There's no way they're not undefeated going into the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
No way.
Hey, and they haven't a lot of Michigan teams, even ones under Jim Harbaugh, have had those slip-ups. Like in 2016 at Iowa, in 2015, the trouble with the snap game. In 2019, Wisconsin. This team, at the very least, this 2022 team, has at the very least taken care of business so far, and has put themselves in a situation where if they win out and they control their own destiny, they will be in the playoff. Because, I mean, you got to give them credit for that, because usually Michigan teams do have had a tendency over the past, even under Jim Harbaugh, to just...
Yeah, but these... And look, it's not strictly Michigan's fault. It's not. Because on the other side of the Big Ten, Iowa controls their destiny to go to the Big Ten championship game.
That's unbelievable.
Think about that for a minute.
But I will say this, and Neal, you're going to lose your mind, and I don't care.
Okay.
I would argue that Iowa is just as big of a win as Kansas for TCU.
Stop.
Oh, big bad Kansas,
Stop.
who's lost 4 games since TCU lost 4 games, including the one that TCU beat them in. They have the exact same record.
Stop.
But Iowa's the trashiest program of all time, and Kansas is this gauntlet. Come on.
Because it's a Michigan TCU schedule comparison.
And you nailed it though. The desolates in the Big Ten hurts Ohio State, Michigan.
No question.
Million percent.
No question.
But TCU, you got to agree, this is their pathway for them to get to the dance. If they played any softer schedule against any other team.
And see, and my thing about it too, DMAC, is we're going to sit here because you see the machine's in motion right now. They want that one-loss Michigan team in, just as the parachute. They want that one-loss Michigan team in the playoff anyway.
It's always tinfoil hat Neal coming on right now.
What are you talking about? Dude, watch tonight when Illinois is still ranked in the college football playoff. Watch. So they can put that little number next to them so you can say, oh, we got 2 ranked wins now.
Michigan doesn't need any help. They still control their own destiny. That's my point. They don't deserve to be in.
The whole point Neal's saying is that if you lose to Ohio State with the rankings the way that they are, then Michigan could slip in, just like he won his fantasy game right at the end last night by point 1.
Here's my overriding problem with it. Sapper 18. Which team is on national TV almost every week? It isn't TCU.
That's irrelevant.
Yes, they are.
That is 100% irrelevant.
That is irrelevant. Yeah. I will say that. That doesn't matter.
And then that's fair. Like Sapper 18, then just say that. Say, yeah, we're the benefit of our brand. We are. It can overcome our schedule.
Hey, I mean, it is one of the biggest brands in all of college football. It's a much bigger brand than TCU.
Yeah. That's kind of there's can we admit there's kind of an empty hollowness to that? Like it's a great facade, but in terms of like the infrastructure of that, it's pretty rotted.
I mean, of course, it's not relevant. And so far, I will admit this: TCU does have a better resume to this point. But if Michigan goes into Columbus and wins, I could argue that they will have the better one. But if they're both undefeated, they're both in. And I think head-to-head, Michigan would beat them. Maybe 6 to 7 times out of 10.
All right, well, and we get to find out. So that was the question.
Yes, on a neutral site. Not at TCU, but on a neutral site or at the Big House, I would take Michigan.
Okay. I probably would, too.
I just wanted him to say it.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. That's all. Like, you don't have to back into the corner.
You might get that matchup in the semis.
And get your hair stood up on the back of your neck, man.
We might go see. We might go see.
All right, Nickle package next after I tell you about the sports marketing agency to help spread awareness on mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast is called This is the S Word. It's about removing the stigma associated with seeking help for mental issues. If you're struggling or you know someone that's struggling, thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com, the sports marketing agency. They're here to help.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play as well as private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars free to choose from. So make sure you come check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Pulling up on the second hour of the show. Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter, Duke Nukem. Michigan played the hand they were dealt. Well, Duke, it's easy when you deal the cards to yourself. That's my other thing, too. I want to play the schedule you make. When you buy out of the UCLA game and buy out of the Washington game, you did that.
That you don't blame them for, just for the
100%.
record.
100%. I don't blame them for that.
Yeah, and that means they got to go undefeated, which they're well on their way to doing.
Right. So, that's it. People talk about my tone. Listen to their tone, man. You hear the tone in here.
Oh, yeah.
The tone's coming through on the chat, D-Mac. That's powerful.
Tone goes both ways.
No, I was told it's only me. It's only my tone. Go blue. Shove your tone, Neal. So, there you have it. Dave Schultz, for all you think that Neal hates Michigan, he just said what annoys him. Michigan gets a boost from the brand, not the talent on the field, and that's what he's against. And I just don't know why they can't say it. Like, just say it. Hey, we benefit. That's like with the Heisman thing. There's always going to be a Michigan guy in the Heisman whenever they can. They're going to angle so Michigan can lose a game and still get in. If Michigan loses to Ohio State and gets into the playoff with that resume, that is can we agree with that? That would be egregious.
No, they would not deserve to be in if they lose to Ohio State. I will say that.
But they can. It's 50-50.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The best thing they can do is just go into Columbus and not lose and just make no doubt.
And I don't want to hear about the close loss. That's the new narrative too. The close loss doesn't matter.
I've been hearing about close losses all year. It's kind of pissing me off.
I'm just D-Mac. Be prepared.
You're a Sparty guy, though.
Yeah. I'm not even about Michigan. About the Lions. Honestly, I've been hearing about close losses.
Close losses, right?
I don't give a crap about close losses. You win or you lose.
Yeah. So, that's the way that it is. Tristo, Michigan has a home and home starting in 2024 with Texas, then Oklahoma for 25 and 26, and then 28 Texas again. Could be switched, but they have home and home schedule. Substitute switched with bought out.
Oh my goodness.
Can we agree?
They do it in every sport, Sam Flannel.
The brand, right? The brand push, the brand rub, whatever like that, has nothing to do with playing the game, right? With execution on the field. Right? Paul Johnson, somebody said, well, where's the brand when number 2 lost to number 1 a few years ago and stuff like this? It all to what the recipe is, what other teams are around then.
Yeah, I can't remember what the story was that year. What year?
But there is a difference there's other brands out there also too, right? The two biggest brands in football, in college football, Alabama, Georgia, right? Like what this season shows me throughout is there really, like it used to be, there's no Alabama that owns it. Maybe Georgia is a little bit above, but all the rest of the teams and by TCU going through, like who is really in the Big 12 or in the Pac-12, like who are really good teams? How many good teams are out there? Legitimately. Are there 4 that right, this Michigan team that we're talking about, take care of business? Like, they're one of the better teams in college football. Would you agree?
Well, we're going to find out. I haven't seen them in a distressful situation yet. I haven't seen them on the road against anybody, so I don't know. Okay. And look and D-Mac, I go back to it too, right? Like with Alabama, that schedule, look at these environments they go into when we turn these games on. Look at those stadiums.
Yeah.
Look at LSU.
Tennessee.
Look at Tennessee. Look at these, even Ole Miss,
even Texas.
So
Texas, look at these places, dude. They've had zero of that. I know that, well, except for being down at halftime at the birthplace of college football, Rutgers.
Battle-tested these SEC teams compared to any other conference.
That's my point.
Battle-tested into the playoffs.
What?
That was a did you see how he threw that out there?
In the birthplace of college football.
Birthplace of college football, Rutgers.
It's on the commercial.
It's true. But
I'm not making that up.
And you wonder why the SEC, more times than not, wins the national championship because their teams are battle-tested. And the record doesn't display. We're looking at this cream puff records of one loss or undefeated teams, but they haven't played anything or atmospheres or whatever. So if you're looking for the why, that pretty much explains the why.
Right. Jack Harrington says, "Love it, Neal." Right under that, Cigar Guy 911 says, "Bite me, Neal." So I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. It's just, that's just there are two angles being pushed right now too, and you'll see this with the rankings when they come out tonight. We already saw it last week even. Number one is the LSU. I call it the LSU hedge that the committee's doing right now, because as long as they have a shot at winning the SEC, they got to lay the groundwork for if they win, they get in, because they're not excluding the SEC champion. They're not. They're not.
Arkansas scared the bejesus out of them, though, this last
100%.
weekend. Like we said they might, but they did find a way. That was another example of finding a way to win a different way. Yeah. A 13-10 rock fight, and they did it, so kudos to them. But they're not beating Georgia.
Okay,
no chance.
but they got to hedge that, though.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
can Michigan beat Georgia?
At the big house.
Oh.
I'd say at the big house.
Right. This narrative, too, Jackie King. The stadiums you talk about are in perfect weather conditions. When has the SEC played in the cold and the snow? The comparisons are all biased. In Arkansas, it was 31 degrees.
It's true.
They had hot chocolate on the sideline.
Right.
That was pretty cool. I played there.
It was pretty cool. It's just that there are two great hedges going on. The Michigan one-loss hedge, because I don't think Ohio State can get in because you can't lose a home game.
I don't think the loser of the team doesn't get in.
They're lining up for it, though, man.
The loser of the game, I'm sorry, doesn't get in.
They're lining it up for it. Right here, right now, Sam Flannel. If TCU goes to the Big 12 championship game and loses, okay? So, and say Michigan loses. Just humor me for a minute till we get to the nickel packages. Humor me for a moment. Which one you taking?
I know what he's taking.
Okay.
Personally.
No, actually, we assume that the Michigan loss would have been against Ohio State.
Well, obviously, yes. If
TCU.
Okay.
If Michigan loses to Ohio State and TCU loses in the Big 12 championship game, TCU, 100%.
Okay.
I'm reasonable.
If Michigan loses to Ohio State and Tennessee, obviously is locked out of the SEC championship game, who should go?
Tennessee.
Okay. Then we have common ground.
Yes.
What if we put that on the chat poll right now?
I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. The success of Michigan's season depends on what happens in Columbus.
Why am I sitting over here going, why does it Sam want to argue right now? Like, it seems that he's given up a little too easy from his cases in the past. Anybody else?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going down a little too quiet over there.
I mean, it's because it all depends on what happens in Columbus. It's the success of the season depends entirely if Michigan goes into Columbus and wins. And if they don't, I don't want them to be in the college football playoff because they wouldn't have earned it. And even I can say that.
Come on.
It's true.
You don't want them to be in because they haven't earned it. You would want them to be in.
If they put Michigan in, I will accept the gift,
Exactly.
Obviously, I'll accept the gift and I'll root for them, but it won't be quite as satisfying. Ohio State's the hated rival, man.
Yeah, Francis Garcia says if Ohio State loses at home, they probably won't make the college football playoff. I agree with that.
The loser of that game doesn't make it, no matter what.
They're angling for it.
Unless TCU has 2 losses and Tennessee loses again.
Ransom says you're calling the Big Ten team a rec team and the other conference is Premier. This year, yes, because the Big Ten is a rec league conference.
It's a 2-league or a 2-team conference.
That's exactly what it is. So, I'm saying, man.
We can agree. Ohio State loses at home. There's no way they're getting in.
Right.
Michigan loses close with what you're saying, depending on how the rankings come out, but they're idling. The big thing, you mentioned, dude, the SEC. That's not a gimme to who wins that championship, and that could throw a schmozzle into everything.
See, I don't think it does, because if LSU wins out, they're in, and Georgia's in already.
Right, and then Michigan or Ohio State, and then you would assume TCU. But again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it does throw a wrench in the plans. You got to think out of anybody. Georgia's in, right?
Yes.
Georgia's in.
No, yeah.
Okay,
Unless
so
they
then
blow.
there's
Yeah.
3 teams that are up in the air, right? Where do you maybe that's a conversation. Does where the second, third, and fourth teams are ranked tonight make a big deal to you?
Say that again?
So Georgia's going to be number 1.
Yes.
But does the order of 2, 3, and 4, does it mean anything right now? Okay. Because remember, like 2 weeks ago, before teams had to play each other,
Right.
we sat here and we go, well, it doesn't matter. This is another one of those rankings
The
because
only
it'll
thing
play out in the wash, right?
The only thing I'm going to keep an eye on is where LSU is and where Illinois is.
What was Illinois
believe
last?
it or
What
not.
was Illinois last?
21.
And what do you?
And they lost.
Where you? And they lost, right?
Damn right they did.
But
Yeah.
you think they're going to stick? Yeah,
They're going to. They have no business. No, they have no. Sorry, Spence. You lose to Michigan State.
Yeah.
You have no business being in the top 25.
Facts.
None.
Facts.
And then to follow it up with a home loss to Purdue.
Nice conference you got. I guess that's a moral of the story for everybody, right? We'll leave it at that. Be better. Big Ten. Be better. And that's not Michigan's fault, and that's not Ohio State's fault.
Partly Michigan State's fault.
But it is partially Michigan State's fault. I saw a lot of that in the chat, too.
Partially Wisconsin's fault.
Partially, and a lot of Iowa's fault.
A lot of Iowa's fault.
Oh, don't forget James Franklin.
Yeah.
Blame him. Blame him. But you know it's not fault, and everybody can get in on it. Got some cash to give away, but you got to get to Lady J's. You got to come to Lady J's for award-winning experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Yes, $200K. So get to Lady Jane's. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Wicked awesome. And register today. Tell them Big D Energy we sent you.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Time to talk about Mike Phillips. Not former politician Claiborne Hooper Phillips, but Michael Phillips. Looking to buy or sell your home, whether you're a player or a fan, helping you buy, sell,
Be a pro.
is Michael Phillips' top priority. Being in the game for 23 years makes Mike the number one option for anyone. If you have real estate needs, call Michael Phillips at 313-403-0011. That is 313-403-0011.
I'm looking for a basketball card. What was that guy's name again?
Claiborne Hooper.
That was your
This,
best
you know
one
what?
yet.
Cocaine, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. I love Sam's ad reads. LOL. David Mentier, Spencer's laugh.
Oh, God, it's the best.
That one was your greatest creation. The only thing, you didn't stick the landing.
I know.
Oh, gosh darn it. Kerry Struck, come on.
You didn't stick the landing.
It's all right.
Oh, that would have been great.
Something to work forward to tomorrow.
Oh my! All right, let's get to it. We've been teasing it. Let's drop that beat. It's nickel package time.
All right, enough about Claiborne Hooper Phillips. First question of the nickel package. We kind of touched on it already, but has Aidan Hutchinson re-entered the Rookie of the Year race? Can you see him fighting for that?
No, because Sauce Gardner, you're laying money with Sauce Gardner. It's not Michigan hate, everybody. It's a gambling thing, which I think I'm pretty in tune with how that stuff kind of works. The track record speaks for itself. You're laying money with Sauce Gardner. You know what that means? Sauce Gardner's winning the award. And so, no, he hasn't re-entered the discussion. There is no discussion. It's Sauce Gardner, period, end of story. Good evening, sir.
There's something in this league called availability and injuries. So does he make it into the discussion because has his game improved and is he ascending? Yes. Does Sauce Gardner win the Rookie of the Year if he stays healthy and continues to play the way he is? Absolutely. But to the question about has he put himself re-entered the conversation, if you think that 5 guys could win it, because in the NFL availability, and these guys are still rookies on their first year playing a man's game. So odds-on favorite is Sauce Gardner, but don't count Aidan Hutchinson out if you think he's going to continue to slowly and steadily improve. He's got a few guys to get ahead of, but we've seen injuries happen, so I'm not as dead nuts against it as Neal. If he's plus 1,000, throw $10 on it.
There you go. And second question of the nickel package, coming off of what is arguably the worst loss I've ever seen in my life to Jeff Saturday, who had 0 coaching experience, and the corpse of Matt Ryan, does Josh McDaniels make it through the season as the head coach of the Raiders?
You know, I think on Sunday after their game was over, I was like, yeah, of course he does. But you got Carr up there crying at the podium. I mean, what is going on over there, dude?
Claiborne Hooper,
maybe he'd be better off as a coach.
Mark Davis came out, the owner, and pretty much said everybody, pretty much paraphrase it, but he pretty much says everybody wants a quick return. We're 2-7, not the way we wanted to start. But I gave him Josh McDaniels full confidence when I hired him that it was going to be a process. So
his words say that.
I get
you went out and got Devontae Adams and gave up your entire
Jones.
Yeah, you went out and said we are. Because you lost to Cincinnati, you had the ball in the fourth quarter.
You guys aren't listening. The fact of what do you think? Like if he was going to do something, he's not going to come out because he's coming out doing like his own. This is my team. This is Vegas, baby, whatever like that. So should it? Probably. Do you expect it? No. Could it be false advertising? Yes. But after the game, you're thinking, well, what? How can they be this dismal? What is the process? But when you hear that from the owner, you got to go by what the owner said.
See, it's just, I think that's owner speak in that those moves they made, they had the football in the fourth quarter, last possession of the game, in the playoffs against a team that went to the Super Bowl. They thought they were there. They went out in the offseason, and they made huge moves.
How many games this year have they lost with the ball in their hand to be able to win it at the end of the game? There's got to be at least 3.
I don't know. I do know the quarterback's crying at the podium. It's just there has to be
a pound of flesh.
There has to be a pound of flesh, man.
If you would have told me going into this season that Josh Jacobs was going to be a top 3 running back in the NFL, I would have said the Raiders are undefeated.
And Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
There has to be a pound of flesh for this.
He's Darren Waller, yeah. Max Crosby's top 5 in sacks.
Real quick, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Thorneal Robinson. If Michigan wins a championship, I'm getting banned from Woodward because I'm going to flood this chat for Neal's sorry tale. Okay.
Bring it.
That would be
we won't ban you.
Yeah.
We'll read your comments.
Yeah, and I don't care. And guess what? On the flip side, there's a flip side to that coin, like in the movie Heat. Look here, Thorneal.
That's a good one.
I don't care what time my flight gets back from the Bahamas on Sunday. Even if it's into Monday morning, I'll drive straight from the airport to this seat, and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it. Yeah. Either way, I'll sit down and I'll be
You've been warned.
You've been warned too, my friend. All right, well, third down.
What a flex. Yeah, I'll be in the Bahamas, but Next question of the nickel package. Will the Rams pick end up being higher in the draft than the Lions?
the instinct is for me to say no, right? But
Cooper Kupp, high ankle sprain.
It's mounting, man. Like, it's mounting to the point, too, where if I'm the Rams and I'm McVay, I'll be like, look, everybody. Yeah. Like, look, everybody. You know, let's just sit this one out. There's nothing much else that can be done for this year.
That would be so awesome.
I can only throw
you know
in
what?
the
Yes,
universe.
it will be.
I'm throwing in the universe, like, continue. I've been sitting on this perch for a long time, and I think that's just the excuse. And that's the luxury of them having the Super Bowl in their bag last year. So I'm going to say it's probably right around the same, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get back-to-back picks. 9-10, 10-11. 8-9. I think we're going to end up with the same amount of wins, 6.
And those back-to-back picks are working out pretty well for the Giants and the Jets. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it works, man. That's exactly how it works. Namahi says McDaniels won't allow Carr to audible and tells him who to pass to, and won't let the wide receivers adjust their routes. It's on him. And there's got to be a pound of flesh. There's got to be.
Yeah. Next question of the nickel package. Sam will love this one. Is Patrick Mahomes running away with the MVP this season?
You know what's funny about that? And right at the exact second, I kind of converted to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The second I convert,
he falls off.
And it's always something with this guy. Mm-hmm. It is, for real. It's always a play, or it's always they were on the road. It's always something. You know who it's not always something for? Patrick Mahomes, man. Dude finds a way. And guess what? You guys can say what you want about losing in the Super Bowl or losing the conference champ. He's always there. And I never hear an excuse for it. You never heard people talking about that Super Bowl where they played Tampa, where they had to roll out the dead body offensive tackles for Kansas City.
Offensive line, he had a bad ankle.
I think this is the best KC team we've seen in Mahomes' team.
Well, he's healthy. When he's healthy, I would say front runner, yes. Head and shoulders, the other two guys that I had in there up until yesterday would have been Jalen Hurts, who's still, 3 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. He's still up in the conversation. The guy we mentioned earlier, with the success, if the Giants keep winning, how can you not look at Saquon Barkley? So I think right now Mahomes is a front runner, but there's a couple other guys that are worthy of it too, that are playing great this year.
You know what? And I'm real close too, like with the Josh Allen thing. I'm really, really close to that. You know what? Just talk to me when you do it.
Is Josh Allen turning into, and I don't mean
yes, he is.
Aaron Rodgers, right?
Without the Super Bowl. So even worse.
Without the Super Bowl and without, the personalities, no. But the fact of, seems like there's always a built-in excuse.
There's always a problem with the guy.
Win. But do we not view, there's always a guy that we view is better than when we look back and say, well, he doesn't really get it done at crunch time, or he doesn't get it done
in the biggest moments
with everything set up for him. What does Buffalo have that Green Bay has? The weather at home. They're supposed to be home field advantage in the snow. They don't use it to their advantage. To me, without the Super Bowl, but he reminds me more of like Aaron Rodgers.
Real quickly, WoodwardSports.com chat thread, and he's not wrong. Stephen Baffy says, for real, the convo should be talking about Saquon Barkley and Justin Jefferson, not these quarterbacks. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he's the best player in the game, man.
Yeah, throw Justin Jefferson in there with the numbers and what he's able to do. And Tua's the conversation.
By the way, Tua's leading Josh Allen's division, by the way.
That's true. That is a good point. And final question of the nickel package. Can the Buccaneers turn their season around and be Super Bowl contenders? Tom Brady 2-0 after the divorce.
Face is still swallowing itself, though. His face is still sucking in to his cheekbones.
Somebody give that guy, a cake.
Yeah,
some ice cream.
Give him something with some sodium so his face bloats a little, just so it pushes back out away from the front of his skull, But anyway, with that being said, that's a loaded question because they're going to win that division. You saw. I mean, I didn't see it because I didn't fall for it because I knew the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
I caught the score updates a couple times, and that played
James
out.
Franklin, Marcus Mariota,
100%. And that's going to be the narrative, right? And I'm already preparing myself mentally for this. When they win the division at 8-9. And they're in the playoffs, and they say, well, you got to look out for Tom Brady because it's the playoffs. No, you don't. No, and they're taking on injury after injury. There's some Ram qualities to what's going on with the Buccaneers. So can they turn their season around? By definition, yes, because they'll win the division and they'll get in the playoffs. But Super Bowl contenders, no way. People will be tripping over themselves to get to play Tampa in the playoffs.
No, I would agree that everybody would want that matchup. And the big thing, it's obviously Tom's come back, but the injuries. You nailed the injuries. These guys just keep losing guys left and right. So I don't think they'll be healthy enough.
Yeah, again, you have to be careful about tone, I guess, when you say. Did you see how I said tone with tone right there? And it was really not even like to upset anybody or a shot at anybody. Maybe it's just in my DNA.
It is in your DNA,
it is for sure.
Oh. Tone DNA.
Tone DNA.
Once you have a drink something.
How about a Cintron? They're the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Okay. Cintron's combined all three of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. You know what? Why wait? Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic and sugar-free all-in-one Red Wings themed package. Go to CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron and let's go Red Wings. Please, let's go Red Wings.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Neal Ruhl here for Custom Health Centers. And look, guys, a lot of times with ads and things like that, you get these cool taglines and everything and these stories that you're supposed to talk about. Let's bottom line this right now.
Haha.
Let's get the final word on this. Ryan Ermanni, our own Ryan Ermanni, started with Custom Health Centers. He's down 15 pounds. And look, he knows, he's a guy, he knows the way that weight affects health, wants to feel better mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. That's the ground zero, everybody. Our own Ryan Ermanni, he's down 15 pounds. How's he doing it? Custom Health Centers, 844-789-8446. Again, that's 844-789-THIN. Ermanni's doing it, D-Mac.
And you know what? If you want to put the work in and do it, he's proven that he can. So now, this is old Ryan Ermanni, new Ryan Ermanni. Fits right in the middle of all the TVs right there. But hey, if you're going to do the work, go visit Custom Health because they'll help you do the work.
Absolutely. Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, chat thread, Rad Dad Scott. Neal, let's go Red Wings and let's talk some Red Wings. I will after we do the college football nickel package because we've hit our first bump in the road with the Detroit Red Wings and we need to talk about it. We're going to talk about it coming up in just a few minutes. But now it's Sam Flannel's time to shine because it is the college football nickel package.
But first, college football. So 2 Saturdays ago, Hendon Hooker and CJ Stroud kind of had subpar performances. But last Saturday, they both bounced back with a vengeance. So who had the more impressive bounce back? C.J. Stroud or Hendon Hooker?
I think as far as like fan perception and stuff like that, it was probably C.J. Stroud, because I don't know if you know this or not, it snowed.
Hey,
it was windy.
Yeah, it was windy and it snowed. I mean, it wasn't 50-mile-an-hour winds, but it snowed at the Horseshoe, and he lit Indiana up like a Christmas tree. And you know how hard that is to do, Sam Flannel. Your team was locked in a battle with them, right?
That is very true. But when C.J. Stroud does it, it's like a big deal. But when Blake Corum and J.J. McCarthy,
they were never trailing to them or never locked up with them. You know what I'm saying? Fair. It was never 10-7. That game was over 8 minutes into it. It was a wrap. So I would say C.J. Stroud, only because Stroud has more on the line with this Hendon Hooker race thing, because if he does pull this off, if he does beat Michigan, if when they do cook Iowa in the because the Iowa controls their own fate.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I think it was a bigger bounce back for him, because it set the groundwork for the stage now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it set the groundwork for Heisman too.
Right.
Right. No, I mean, he wanted to stay in the Heisman. You're allowed a little inconsistency, but he had to bounce back. And you know, that's something that you're going to have to expect. Don't you expect sort of that type of game, that type of weather? I think it was good for Michigan to sort of get some tape that, you know, and that's sort of, if the weather plays out that day, that's what he can do. But that, you know, if he's my favorite quarterback in college, or he's the one that if the Lions were going to make a move, it would be him. So I'm happy that he bounced back. But it's nice to get tape on him. You know, even if guys execute, make the throws, and do things against you, you want to know what they can do, not what they can't do.
That is true. Second down.
Absolutely. So speaking of people who had great games, the best game of the weekend might have belonged to freshman LSU edge rusher Harold Perkins Jr., who had 4 sacks versus Arkansas. And I know, Neal, you're very high on LSU's future with Brian Kelly. So moving forward...
Well, that's his family.
Yes. Moving forward, can Harold Perkins Jr. have a Will Anderson-type impact for LSU?
Yeah, because you look at, you know, popping off with games like that. That was an SEC road game in another crazy environment. Look, Arkansas has been somewhat disappointing. I don't see a long line of people lining up to go to play at Arkansas. You don't want any part of that.
Tough place to play.
Well, here's the whole thing, right? We mentioned it earlier about LSU finding a way to battle it out in the 13-10 game. So what do you need? What is Brian Kelly? What is LSU? You need those dogs. So, you know, it's tough to say, oh, here's the new Will Anderson, stuff like this, perennial number 1 guy, but show me some consistency. But definitely it's a start, because where you did it.
Right. And DMAC too, like all those external factors that go into it. I'm telling you guys, Brian Kelly's going to win a natty at LSU before his time is over there. And you wait till next year. I'm calling it now. LSU will be a top 4 team in the nation next year. That's the type of stage that he needs. That's the kind of shine and the kind of run that he needs to pull that off as well. So, absolutely.
Yeah, and going forward, Harold Perkins Jr., he's going to need to step up big next year if they want to swim in those waters, but I think he will. Third down, this is a more simple one. Is it time to pump the brakes on the Quinn Ewers hype train?
You know what, though? I want to sit here and be witty about it and have all these funny things to say.
Were you on his hype train?
What he was doing against Bama before he got hurt, man, he was spinning it. And here's the only way I'll take up for him in this respect. He hasn't looked right. He's had a game here and a game there, but he hasn't been right since the shoulder issue in the Alabama game. He hasn't. Now, I know the easy thing is to jump on it and get the laughs in and everything like that. And I understand it. I can't defend it. I wouldn't bet on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't bet on it and say, oh, don't worry, he'll get it figured out. I don't know all that. This is the flip side of the coin, though, with the name, image, and likeness and the 7-figure deals. And what is he, Rolls-Royce? He has a deal with Rolls-Royce or something like that. This is the flip side of that coin, where those are the external factors that weigh on these kids, and they're 17 and 18 years old, man. The weight of the world's got to be on his shoulders right now. What kind of makeup does he have? I don't know. We don't know.
No, we don't. I think that's, you know, maybe this this different type of adversity where you're feeling, you know, the life right? Just when you turn pro, you got there's the game and then there's the life. In college or in junior, it's more so focused on the game, but this is getting into
changing.
life.
That's a great take.
You know, like so.
And you're a guy that knows.
I'm a guy that knows exactly.
Yeah.
You know, knew DMAC was when I was 6. Took me to 46 to meet Darren. But the fact is, maybe these are stuff that obviously. I think you mentioned that it's injured and he hasn't looked right. So, I mean, I don't expect him to get any better. There's something that's definitely done.
The pressure, man.
But is it? Yeah, there is, and it's different. So maybe this makes them better moving forward because they've dealt with life.
Real quickly on the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Mike. See, here we go. Mike G. Michigan can beat LSU on a neutral field. I'm just saying.
This year, absolutely they can.
Who's got the better coach?
It's a pick'em. I'd say it's a pick'em.
Spence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love Brian Kelly, but
he can coach his ass off.
He can coach his ass off.
There you go. All
It's
right.
pretty close.
Mike G, you brought it up, so don't everybody flood the chat right now. You're being a hater. I didn't bring it up. You guys did. All right.
No, it's
Where are we at? 4th down?
We are at 4th down.
All right.
So, Neal, you'll love this one. Is Sonny Dykes of TCU the clear-cut coach of the year?
Yes. Yeah, we went through the resume 100 times
yeah.
the show today. The environments they've gone into and won, the teams that they've beat, all of it. I want to say they were 18-1 to win the Big 12 before the season. Think about that for a minute. 18-1 to win the Big 12, and he's probably going to get them in the playoff. That's incredible. Yeah, there is no doubt he's the national coach of the year.
I would agree.
No, I think because everything that you covered, yes, 18-1. Hey, just think if he was Aidan Hutchinson, you cash in on that ticket. He's only 1,000-1 for Rookie of the Year.
You certainly will. Coke says Brian Kelly got faster results.
Mike G said Harbaugh, he won more games in the NFL.
What do we got? 5th down.
Yeah, we're at 5th down, the last one. And this is a funny one, but I actually don't think it's funny at all. After Will Levis quarterbacked Kentucky to a home loss against Vanderbilt, can he please just go away forever?
Dude, Sam hates Will Levis.
And listen to his numbers. Against home versus Vanderbilt, 11 of 23, 109 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick. He is a bum. But I'll let you guys answer.
It's almost Justin Herbert-esque in that bowl. Didn't he play Michigan State in that bowl game? That was 6-3? Mm-hmm. That was Justin Herbert, right?
It was 7-6. But Justin Herbert is a much better college player than Will Levis. Come on. Levis is awful.
I'm just saying. No, Will Levis is. And like this whole thing about the Lions drafting Will Levis.
Please no.
I will say that. Can we stop with that? Yes, Sam Flannel.
Yes,
we can stop with that.
Would you rather have Will Levis or Anthony Richardson?
Oh, God.
Yeah, but you'd think Anthony Richardson's got at least some sort of, you might be able to move him to a different position. You know what I mean?
I think I would lean Anthony Rich. No, DMAC, I am calling a moratorium on that. From here on out, on Big D Energy, if you ever text the show or however you communicate with the show and you try to tell me about how the Lions should draft Will Levis, I will never address that comment. You may as well save the energy of your fingers typing that on a keyboard because it will never see the light of day on this show. Enough with this guy.
I never got it from day one. Eyeball test, like you said.
I tried. DMAC, I sat down and I watched when Richardson played Levis. Mm-hmm. I sat down and watched it and said, hey.
That was it.
I'm going to settle in.
I said to you, what am I looking for? Yeah. I mean, what are we what am I watching here? Is this high school football?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, dude, it was hard no. So, yes, we need to be done with that guy.
Yeah, Will Levis is considered a potential first-round draft pick, and he quarterbacked Kentucky to a loss over a Vanderbilt team, a home loss that had not won an SEC conference game since 2019. You cannot make this up. Oof. It's... I never want to hear his name again.
You don't want that in your pipe. Yeah. You don't be smoking none of that.
That's for sure.
No, trust me. No boy.
Yeah, it's people are really starting to. You know who they've moved on? The Will Levis contingent has moved on to the Michael Penix contingent.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Penix in the chat.
I've noticed that.
But at least Penix is a good college quarterback.
Yeah, I mean...
But here's the thing. I think that they got a point. They should move on to Penix
at least they're moving
better. And I would almost like him drafted more so late, right, than Will Levis. So
yeah, I mean,
so
he's 6'3"
what Neal
too.
said about Levis doesn't apply to Penix yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. But you know what it applies for
But
everybody
if they
out
do
there?
draft Michael Penix,
Oh, and you wanted to go see him?
yeah, if you wanted to sit front row,
Well, if you wanted to sit front one, what it would be like to watch him
Yeah.
the next year.
you want to lay the groundwork?
Thanksgiving, yes, coming up in, wow, what is today? Tuesday, so we got 9 days left. You want to be part of Woodward Front Row. Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for Thanksgiving Day football game. That's right, you and 3 of your besties. Be thankful for sitting in row 1 to the Detroit Lions versus Buffalo Bills game on Thanksgiving. All you have to do, enter, is retweet or share our post on Twitter and Instagram and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of these people are following Woodward Sports too, we pick your name, bang, bang, boom, you and your crew will all get the best seats, first row inside of Ford Field. So hop on to Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew today. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom House Centers. Make sure you tell them Big D Energy, Woodward Sports, we sent you.
Hockey when we come back.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
D-Mac here for Guardian Alarm. They keep you safe and give you peace of mind whether you're home or on the road for your personal or your business with 24/7 local monitoring, making sure what is important to you is safe. So if you want to be part of the Guardian Alarm Woodward Sports family, you know you can be, but you got to call. Give them a call today, 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
How many straight days of flannel protection?
156.
156 straight days of flannel protection. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Give them a call. 1-800.
Stay out. Stay out, Will Levis.
I was going to say that too. Stay out, Will Levis. Go away forever and ever. Never to be seen again.
Will Levis, don't ever enter our chat thread ever. Neal laid down the gauntlet. Guardian Alarm. They're here to protect me, you, everybody. Local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy. We sent you.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, coming down the stretch. Neal Ruhl, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. Mike G had a comment in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, but I won't read it because all subject matter related to this person has officially been banned here going forward. So it won't be read. And that's it. That's it. That's all. Even when we do NFL draft previews, I will not address them. If you ask me a question, I will not respond. Whatever.
How dope is it that Get Dope Like Me, after 2 wins, we're not talking about draft as much anymore?
It's funny, isn't it?
Like, we were so close to just busting out draft talk.
Right.
Yeah, but what else do we have, Spenny Mo?
That's true. That's true.
Give the people what they want.
Zach Spring, J.J. McCarthy ceiling is Zach Wilson. No thanks in the NFL. I don't know. You think J.J.'s a top 5 pick, Sam Flannel?
Zach Wilson, though, has been terrible. I don't care how the Jets are doing. He's been awful. That defense has carried him.
Facts.
But no, J.J. McCarthy in the NFL, we'll see how he performs next year because he's not draft eligible yet.
Joe Schmo, I will not read your comments either. Sorry, not doing it. There's a moratorium on that talk. You guys can try all you want. We're not saying that name ever again. Red Wings in action tonight in Anaheim. 3-game losing streak. The Rangers game was ugly. The Kings game, they got in a hole that they couldn't dig themselves out of. I'm not going to call must-win games on the West Coast in November. I'm not doing it. Even I won't go that far. Even in this day and age of my analytics where, you know, with these games that they played against Buffalo and the Rangers, where they're competing with a 78-game season where all the other teams have an 82-game season. Even through all that, I will not call tonight a must-win.
They got to right the ship. You can't, the old adage was you don't want to lose, 2 games in a row. Obviously, young team. The big thing tonight, Tyler Bertuzzi back in the lineup on that first line with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. You got Andrew Kopp. Moved Oscar Sundquist back in the lineup to the second line with Dominic Kubalik. You see Jonathan Berggren, who's made an impact in his short time up here on the third line with Veleno and Perron, and then Rasmussen, Ernie, and Suter on the fourth. So looks like Wallman and Osterley will find their way in. I know Gustav Lindstrom did not skate yesterday. He was hurt. So I haven't heard whether it's Husso or Ned in net, but this is where you got to go into Anaheim and sort of take advantage. You want to see, playing that road game, come out to a good start. One of the things, the one thing when I hear Derek Lalonde talk or his quotes after the game or whatever, it's the self-awareness of where this team's at. Like, he answers my questions in my head a couple times when he comes out and says, this isn't good enough. Or when he says, we did this really well. Right? So what you're seeing is more consistency. So the message seems to be getting in. Right? But what's imperativeness? You don't call for a must-win, but if they got,
but I am calling for a get right.
They got to get right. Right? They got to, and this is where the difference. Okay? Here's a great example, guys, of why I said this year, when you asked me about what I thought, were the Red Wings a playoff team, and I said, you know what, I want to have that conversation for the last 2 games of the regular season. If we have to win, we make the wild card, we should be in that discussion, but I'm not going to hold them to the fire. And this is the reason, because they have to figure out how to get off the snide, how to continue to go good when they're going good, but when it starts to go a little bit south, like it is now, how to nip it in the butt. How to get right? And road games a lot of times are good to do that. Now, look at the way they played the last few games, and especially in LA, because I don't care what it is. Hey, way to battle, way to come back and stuff like this.
We're
beyond that.
We're beyond that.
We're beyond that. So they better come out, and Anaheim's a perfect team, right, to come on out and take advantage. They're even though I like their goalie John Gibson, but they're a team that's struggling, right? They're a team at the bottom.
And per Derek Lalonde, Tyler Bertuzzi is expected to play tonight.
Good.
So back on he skated yesterday, and that was announced. So back on that number 1 line, and he'll bring some sandpaper, which you need in the lineup. So again, looking up and down this lineup, you have an NHL team. Now it's about, can they put the pieces together? So you say not must win, but I think get right. That they should go in and win this game in Anaheim, especially having a couple days off, right? You know what I'm saying? You're out west, the weather's nice, trust like this. They need this one.
And for me too, like, look, these West Coast trips they're difficult. And Anaheim, for whatever reason, is always a tough place to play. I watch them a lot, late at night on the weekends when nothing else is on. Because I just watch games. I don't care what the game is. I'll watch it. They're always a pain in the. It's always 2-1. Like a Michigan game is always 10-7 in the second quarter. In a game in Anaheim, it's always 2-1 in the third period. Always. It's never not.
And you know what? It just came up, Neal. To me, obviously, Eastern Conference. So I don't know if, we played in the West, right? So Anaheim was in our division. So the travel out west, it was just matter of fact to us. Time changes, all this adjusting. So sometimes because you're in the East now and some of these guys haven't experienced all of that, there's a way to sort of get into it that you maybe didn't realize. But everything that you said, it's not going to be an easy game.
No.
It's probably
and the San Jose game will not be easy.
Game. Absolutely. And Anaheim, I would say, and Anaheim was always one of the more tougher places to play because it's usually a little bit hotter in the building, but the ice is a little bit softer. So that, so in saying that, when you go in and if you practice today, look forward to a lot more, not the tic-tac-toe plays as much as pucks on net, drive the net for rebounds, more of the ugly goals.
And you just look at it, too, as a road trip wraps up. They're at Anaheim, at San Jose on Thursday. They're at Columbus Saturday. I need 3 points out of that.
And that's fair. I think that is fair enough.
I don't care how you get them.
That is fair enough. Out of these 3 games, I think 4. I want 4 points. You know what I mean? 2 and 1.
That's a tough ask. You know, I'm reasonable about
it. But is that a tough ask for a team that you have building expectations out of? No.
No, it's not. And I think it's fair, and I think that going out west is hard. I understand that. You understand that. I mean, it is. It's just tough. You have 4 home games coming up after that, over the holiday, too. But then even that's a pain in the ass. Obviously you got Arizona.
Schedule doesn't get easier,
no,
man.
I keep looking for holes, man, and there are none.
Look at the teams that you're either battling that you think, okay, it's between us to get in that playoff spot, or the teams ahead of you or whatever. It doesn't get any easier. Then you look at the schedule and you look at a team that you thought you'd be battling with in Ottawa or something like this who got off to a slower start. They're going to get good at some point. They're not just going to stay in the bottom.
Yeah, they acquire too much
talent.
talent.
Every game in the NHL is tough. Thank you, Gary Bettman. That's Gary Bettman hockey right there.
Real quick, WoodwardSports.com chat thread, XYYX, in all caps, too, so you know he means it. Can someone tell me why we don't use the cap money that Yzerman has left? If you watch this show for any period of time, and if you're new, welcome. If not, I'll take it, D-Mac. Wow. Nonverbal tone, D-Mac. Nonverbal tone. I'll do it.
Can I just say hashtag Weiser Plan 1919?
1919.
You can tell them.
Okay. So the deal is, we believe that this team has a potential to be an on-the-graphic team, right, as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Yes.
Be on the graphic at the end of the year. I think we would all take that right now.
Yes.
Stands to reason, if you are on the graphic, you are in the mix to make the playoffs.
You are.
So therefore, if an opportunity presents itself to improve your team, i.e. the trade deadline, you want to be in a position to be able to do that. Is that fair?
That is fair.
So you got 5-ish million in cap space right now as it sits. You can take on a contract of maybe a team that disappointed and they want to move a player just to be done. They know they're not going to re-sign him. You can take that on if you're Steve Yzerman.
Erik Karlsson, maybe.
Somebody like that.
That would be pretty cool.
Somebody like that. On the flip side of that coin, XYYX, if things don't work out, this tailspin continues, you fall out of it, now you can weaponize that cap space where you have the ability to be persuaded to take bad contracts in a trade. And they can motivate you to do that by giving you draft picks. That's the way it works. This is as important to today's era of sports as anything else is, as scouting anything. Weaponize your cap space for acquisition or for retraction and draft capital. That's the way that it works now.
See, that's exactly what I said. Hashtag because Stevie said so.
1919.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Weiser Plan 1919.
What about 99.99? No, not Wayne Gretzky. November 22nd is 99-cent Big Boy Day. Roll into Big Boy. November 22nd, buy a Pepsi, get a Big Boy hamburger for 99 cents.
What?
There's nothing else to tell you here. There's no creative marketing ploy. There's no silly little jingles or anything like that. There's no song to sing. Get a Big Boy for 99 cents if you buy a Pepsi November 22nd. If you don't do that, I can't help you.
You're going to see me in about 3 different Big Boys on November 22nd.
Spenmo Racks. There's a good chance you'll run into Spenmo Racks at any Big Boy around Detroit on November 22nd. 99-cent Big Boy, buy a Pepsi. Satisfy your taste buds at Big Boy. Go to bigboy.com for all the details in the participating locations.
Wow.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right. You and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports 2 and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll find the cleanest salons in the D, spotless, sanitized rooms, and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club to get the best deals. They'll beat the competitors' prices by at least $5. You can pick up the Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and the official beauty lotion of Spencer Raxter, of course, the Swedish beauty lotion.
Oh, yeah.
Go to ChiliPeppersTanning.com. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest hands. They are your vitamin D headquarters. It's Chili Peppers Tanning, y'all. Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Lots of messages in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. I will not read the name associated with them, so continue to send them. As I said, guys, you're literally wasting the energy in your fingers. Literally wasting it. Like, and look, when the day comes where we get summoned back home or wherever it is you believe you go, if your life gets cut short by the 6 seconds or whatever it took for you to thumb out those messages, I tried to tell you. It's wasted time. Maybe you could have got one more breath.
Yeah. You know who's the opposite of that guy, though? The guy whose name we're not saying? Look at, I see in the chat. How about Pete Davidson goaded on the sticks?
Yeah,
look at Emily Ratajkowski now.
Yep.
I mean, my guy just Ariana Grande, Kardashian. I mean, shout out to Pete Davidson.
Dude's batting 1,000.
And he's got a Taco Bell commercial. I want the Crunch Wrap commercial.
He's getting to like Jeter status.
He is real quick.
Yeah. He's, you know what? I'm taking Pete Davidson's roster instead of Jeter's roster, but I was never a big Mariah Carey fan.
Yeah.
Jeter's got.
Sorry, side note, boys. Just thought I'd recognize that when I saw that.
No, and you should.
Yeah.
We can all just
absolutely tip the cap.
A little nod of the cap right there. Game recognized game in Spencer Raxter's case. Somebody asked earlier, and I apologize, I can't get the name on it. D-Mac, I'm curious to get your take on this. Too many games in the NHL schedule?
No,
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
I mean, you have an argument of starting a little late. I mean, you could go to 70. You probably could go to 72 or 75. You could cut it down, but no, I don't think it's as egregious. I think basketball's more. Do you find basketball too many games, or?
I think they're one and the same.
I think they're one and the same. Baseball for sure, too many games.
Yes.
Football, I think we're in our sweet spot now. With 17.
And they're going to get to 18.
They're going to get to 18 very soon.
Okay, but so that's sort of like
that's about enough.
That's right there. I think hockey could cut it if they wanted 10 games, and you've seen that to make I think if you were going to ask the players, start the season a little later, start training camp a little bit later.
But you're never going backwards with ticket revenue, TV revenue. You're never going backwards ever. You're not taking money off the table. And that's a very simple explanation. I would like to see them go to the bigger ice, which is not a money issue because people say, well, you'll lose those couple rows of seats. You just charge $4 more for every other seat in the building.
Well, that's where the game, that would be. That's where the game's evolved to. The on the ice game, to me, has evolved into bringing in the European ice surface, and the only thing what it does is it makes it 15 feet wider. Doesn't make it longer. It just makes it wider. Guys are so big. I think it would improve injuries, but it also, the creativity. So I think that's something that maybe you will see, but not for a while.
Yeah, WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Zach Connolly says, Neal, with the pull of this network now, I think you need to rethink to not say anything about that name. Buzz will start, and the Lions might actually draft him. I'm not participating. Now, you might get blocked from some blogs or something like that when you say you're not participating in something. Trust me, it happened to me. But I am not participating in that. I've seen enough. Sam Flannel has seen enough. Now, he might not be as convicted as I am about it, but I am not participating. I don't care if they do draft him. I'm still not saying his name.
I will wear the jeans. That's it. It's all the same way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not participating even if they do draft him, and I won't have to because you'll never hear from him again.
Even if there's a fire.
Even if there's a fire. The show was fire today. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. For my guides, D-Mac, Sam Flannel, Spencer Raster, my name is Neal Ruhl. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.